You got a music. Hello, 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 everyone. My name is Dominique Bryan, and I'm from Dream Academy Foundation. I am the founder. So we're so excited about okay. Hi, Alana. With us before we get started. I'm so excited about the self-care conference. And one of my biggest things that I am really big on, self-care equals self-love. Do anybody agree with that? Do you love yourself? Hello, Lenora. How are you? I love myself and I love me. So self-care, self-love, those equal each other. And I'm just so excited about this conference. I want to tell you a little bit about who Dream Academy Foundation is. And yes, thank you. And just lay some of the ground rules so you're in for He's so excited. So, Dream Academy Foundation is a youth mentoring organization for ages 10 to 18. We are in the Chicagoland area, but we have a national and soon to be international impact. We help youth dream it, believe it, and achieve it. So, we are with the families. This particular event is really to help with the different type of stress that you may have been under. And it's really dear to my heart. So those that's out there, do you have a car? Have a car or had a car before? Want to hear some interaction? Oh, beforehand, to lay the ground rules, if you start individuals that have the most interaction, we are going to give you a prize. So we do some great things. Okay, so you have a car. Thank you. And with your car, how do you know when you need to get an oil change? Do you put gas in it? It's when it goes to E. So do you know when the engine light go on, or listening to the manual, or whatever the case may be? So you know, you take care of the car and you have different indicators to know when you need to get things checked. So what indicators do you have with your self-love? You have to get some rest, or when you're going. One of mine, I get tired or I get irritated. I need to get a massage or part here getting nails done, taking a rest day. So I just want to get in the mindset of self-love equals self-care. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. So we have a moderator coming in, and I'm so excited. You can break. So Portia, she's going to be our moderator for today. We have a lot of individuals. Hey, Portia. Okay, do you hear? Okay, I don't know if we can hear you.
How's that?
Right, so I'll give you
I'm sorry, you broke up? You're breaking up. Okay, guys, so as you can see below, my name is Portia London Spencer, and I'm going to be the moderator / host for today. We are super stoked for the information that you guys are going to receive today. We have 3 amazing speakers who are going to be talking about various types of self-care. As Dominique stated, self-care is so vital and important to our livelihood because, as the saying goes, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you are not investing in yourself, whether that's your mind, your body, your spirit, then you are not really giving yourself the opportunity to be fully of service to other people. So I'm going to be moderating this event today. Let me know down in the chat if you guys are excited. Give me a yes, give me an emoji, give me something. Let me know in the chat that you guys are excited and ready for this, because I know I am. So just a quick little blurb about me. I'm a Chicago native. I am a blogger, and I also have a social media management company. So if you need some social media, holla at your girl. But today is all about self-care, which I am also all about personally, because we go through so many things, especially ladies. I see a lot of ladies here in the chat today, and we just are natural nurturers, and we pour so much out into other people, and sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves. So we're going to be talking to 3 amazing ladies who are going to not just share their stories with you guys, but give some tackable implements that you guys can start to use right away, because it's very important for us to be able to have some action right now. So again, let me know. I see you guys. Okay, Alana, Alexis, Alexandria, Lenora. Yes, we are all excited and ready to go. So to kick things off, we're going to bring Dominique back, and we're going to have a quick little icebreaker just to kind of get the muscles loosened up and get you guys ready to go. And then I'm going to come back and bring on our first speaker.
What am I talking about?
We have an icebreaker. We're talking about dreams.
Oh, hello again.
Uh-oh, I can't hear you. I'm not sure if they can.
It's a delay.
Yeah, it's a little delay. Okay. So we have a dream icebreaker.
I can hear you. I'm talking. Repeat the please.
Uh-oh, I can't hear you. It's breaking up on your end, Dominique. They're saying it's breaking up for them as well. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me okay. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining. Okay, so I think we lost Dominique. She's having some technical difficulties. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on our first speaker. I'm super excited for you guys to meet her. Okay, so I haven't officially met her, but I have read her bio, and I don't want to speak for her, so I'm going to allow her to kind of speak for herself. So I'm going to introduce you guys to the beautiful, who has gorgeous hair today, by the way, Terry Lynn. She's going to come on and introduce herself, and we're going to chit chat. Okay, great. You can hear me. Thank you so much. We're going to bring in Terry.
Sure time. Oh, hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Wonderful.
I was just telling you how beautiful your balayage is.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't want to speak for you, so please just give us a little bit about yourself before we go into the interview portion.
Absolutely. So I'm so happy to be here with all of you guys. My name is Terry Mariano. I am a yoga instructor, and I'm also a clinical therapist. I work in violence prevention in Chicago, and I've been doing trauma therapy for about 12 years. Really, the most important thing to me is self-care and talking to others about how our mental and emotional wellness is just as important as our physical health. So that's a little bit about me. And, I know for me, especially in the work that I do, I'm not taking care of myself. I can't take care of the others around me. So.
Yeah, I think that's just like a general rule of thumb. I think for some people, it's like a little bit more true than others, but generally across the board. But you mentioned yoga and kind of meditation. So just from your perspective, why do you feel like that's so helpful when it comes to relieving stress and anxiety as well?
Yeah. So I'm going to share my story of how I got into yoga, because I think it actually perfectly answers your question. Right. So when I was an undergrad, I had a ton of stress on me, right? I wanted to like get good grades. For some reason, I wanted to graduate early. Like I had it in my head that was what was going to happen. So I was taking extra courses. I was also working full time in addition to taking on more than a full caseload at school. And so I felt this overwhelming sense of pressure, anxiety, stress, and ultimately I started physically feeling that. So when I went to the doctor, I had developed ulcers, and it was a moment for me where I really had to stop and say that and really evaluate my lifestyle and how I was neglecting my body. And ignoring my stress and ignoring the anxiety that I was feeling, because I was like, I got to push through. I got to do this. I can do this. I know I can make it out. And that was the moment for me. And I often say that's when yoga saved my life and changed my life. So it was in that moment that I started practicing yoga, practicing meditation, and now it's something I do every day. And it's a way to stop and to connect our bodies and our minds, because I think a lot of times we move through life and we ignore the signals and things that are happening inside of our body until they become a physical thing, right? Where we're like, oh, I can go to, go to the doctor for this. And so my life has now really shifted to a place where I listen to what my body is telling me. Where do I have tension? Where do I feel stress in my body? Is my heart rate feeling better today than it was yesterday? Well, why is that? What can I do in this moment right now to reconnect and ground myself back down? Obviously, right, in the hopes that I can manage and control, right, the anxiety and the emotions that I feel without it becoming a physical thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think for some of us, we kind of have been doing this our whole lives, and it can be a little bit difficult to kind of recognize those signs of anxiety if it starts to just become your day-to-day life. You don't really know anything else. So is there anything that you would say is like a telltale sign that you're experiencing anxiety or depression? I know sometimes each person is different, but is there anything that people can kind of keep an eye out for?
Absolutely. So, and to your point, everyone's different, right? And so everyone's going to experience symptoms of anxiety or depression in different ways. And the first step is really stopping and bringing intentional awareness to your own body, like your own patterns, so that you can recognize when things are changing. And for me, I do that through connecting through my breath and doing yoga. Like I said, like every day. I do it in between my meetings, right? I know like now with COVID and being at home, right, with my computer, kind of sitting all day, that's created stress. And so I think that's where everyone just needs to start, right? Is like just stopping and noticing. And for me, yoga can be like an hour-long practice that's like vigorous, but it's also the simple connection of breath and movement. And so it doesn't have to be, it can just be like lifting your arms with your breath, right? To me, that's yoga because it's connecting a mind-body connection. So I think that it's really just about allowing yourself to stop and giving yourself permission to notice. And then once you're noticing like, oh, I have a change in my heart rate, or I feel my palms getting sweaty, or like I'm waking up with headaches, or I feel tired all the time. Also giving yourself permission to be okay with that, right? So we're not noticing so we can judge it or be like, I got to change this right now, right? Because that adds another layer of stress on top of it. And so it's intentionally stopping, connecting, allowing yourself to experience and feel it with compassion and with love.
Yes.
I often say, right, and this is something I say to myself, almost every day to extend myself the same grace that I extend to other people.
That's good. That's so good. And I see Lisa in the chat mentioned that she's never tried yoga before. I love yoga. I definitely recommend it. But I also, and you can give your opinion on this as well, Terry, but like it doesn't necessarily have to be yoga. Sometimes you can just spend 15 minutes a day just checking in with yourself, starting your day slow, like, you know, give it, you know, it's hard sometimes not to hit that snooze button, but just maybe just go ahead and like giving yourself that extra 10, 15 minutes just to sit, have a cup of tea, process, you know, any dreams you may have had, or, you know, not just thinking about what you have ahead for the day, but like, how am I feeling in this moment?
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. And I think there is something extremely powerful about allowing yourself to be in the present moment. And to me, that's yoga, right? That's breath work, that's meditation, like being present in the moment without attaching to the list of 800 things you have to do later that day, right? Just knowing that it's there, but not attaching to it, and just giving yourself time to stop, connect, and ground. And I just want to, you know, reiterate, you know, because I think when we say yoga can be really intimidating, right? Because I think in our society, yoga has, like, you see people in all these poses that like are on their hands doing all these things, right? And like that's part of some advanced yoga practices, right? But for me, yoga is really the time I allow for myself to stop, be, and connect with my breath. There doesn't even have to necessarily be any movement involved. It's just that allowing to be in the present moment, and just kind of sit and give myself that time. It can be as something as like feeling your feet on the floor. Like feel the breath move through your body, feel your feet on the floor connected to the, you know, to the earth below you. That's yoga.
Totally agree. Because I know there's been so many times where I pulled out my yoga mat and I literally just, like you said, there's not a lot of physical movement. And sometimes I end up in prayer, you know, like it's a very personalized experience if you allow it to be. But if you are looking for something a little bit more structured, I'm sure you have some, I don't know if you have some online courses or classes available. There's things on YouTube. Like you don't have to, you know, just kind of started with this with no knowledge. There's information available. So if you're interested in getting started, why don't you tell us where we can find you, Terry? I think that's a good segue.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, I'm not teaching any formal classes just because my work schedule is so crazy, but I absolutely am available to do private group classes. That's kind of where I am. With my teaching. And I also teach for the Common Ground Foundation. So I teach the students there as well. So you guys can find me. I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. You can find me there. And
can you put your Instagram handle in the chat? Will they be able to see that? That'd be good. Can we do that?
Yes. Yeah. I can do that. Absolutely. And feel free. I love teaching. It's sad that I don't get to do it as often as I like or as I would like to, but yeah, it's just such a passion of mine, and I love doing like smaller groups and privates because it can really be tailored to the, you know, to kind of where everyone is. So yeah, so I'm happy to put that in the chat. You guys, please feel free to reach out to me. I can also, if people are looking to like want to get into some classes, I can recommend some studios and some teachers who I know are doing still doing a lot of virtual classes.
Love it. Lisa asked, if you are a beginner at yoga, do you have to take classes?
No, I don't think you have to. I think it's a matter of finding what works for you. And I think depending on what you're looking to get out of your practice, right? If you're looking to have more of a grounding, mindful experience, that's going to be something different than if you're looking to like really get into deep poses and things like that. I think if you're a beginner looking online or starting out with a private, just to ensure that you kind of get the basics down of like alignment and where things should be so you don't physically injure yourself, is really a good place.
Yeah.
But I think that like if you're thinking about starting a practice, really take a moment and think, what do I want to get out of this? Is this for my wellness and mindfulness? Do I want it to be more of a strength based, like kind of rigorous thing that's going to be part of my exercise routine?
Right.
And then you kind of move that way.
Awesome. I love that. That's a great answer to that question, because it can be intimidating. And if you only see crazy complicated poses, then it can be like, okay, well, I guess this is where I start. It's like, no.
Right.
Yes. Okay, so I think you have a little something special that you wanted to share. I don't want to reveal the surprise, so I'm gonna let you you introduce it. Oh, you're muted. We can't hear you. Sure. So while Terry is getting her audio together, why don't you guys let me know down in the comments if you have ever tried yoga or it's something that you would be into. Okay, Lenora says yes, there's several yoga videos for beginners on YouTube. Absolutely. I am a fan of yoga. I started doing yoga when I was in high school. I took dance class instead of traditional gym, and in our dance class, we had to do different types of dance, and we also did yoga and Pilates. And I just found it so relaxing and just like calming. And it was a little bit more pose heavy, but as I got into it on my own, I started to figure out that it doesn't have to be this rigorous structured thing. It is supposed to be very like free form. And it's not just about like the flexibility, but like as Terry was saying, it's about connecting your breath to your body and being able to kind of just be still. So if you haven't tried it, I definitely highly recommend it.
Can you think
now? Yes, I was giving my little yoga spiel.
Sorry, I don't know my earbuds. I don't know what happened. This virtual world we're in.
Yes. Please pardon the technology, guys. Give us some grace with the technology. So I was saying before your absence, you had a little something special for the people who are joining today, and I didn't want to give it away.
Yes. Thank you. And again, I apologize for the technical difficulty. So thank you all for that. Listen, I would love to get you guys moving a little bit and to just do some yoga with you guys. Just let's stop for a moment, connect with our movement. I know that we are going to be together for, we were together for about 2 hours today. And so I'm going to just do some seated movement with you guys. So
let's do it. Let me get ready. Okay.
Yes. So wherever you are, just if you're in a chair, if you happen to be standing, you can do this standing. But wherever you are, just get comfortable. So whatever that looks like for you, right? So again, we're going to focus on what feels good for you and your body. And it's not about, as we start adding a little bit of movement, it's not necessarily about like matching exactly what I look like, right? It's just, what does this feel like in your body? So I'm going to ask you just to take a moment and bring all of your attention to your breath. So see if you can let go of anything else that's around you that might be distracting, and just notice what your breath feels like right here, right now. You don't have to change anything. Again, we don't have to judge it. Just notice what your breath feels like moving through your. Just notice like where you're breathing in your chest, your belly. Again, not changing anything, but just notice, what does it feel like? And then if your feet are on the floor, just going to ask you to gently bring your attention to your feet. feel the floor beneath you. Again, whether you're standing or sitting, doesn't matter. Just see if you can just maybe ground your feet down into the floor beneath you. Feel a little bit more rooted through your feet. And then we're just going to add, again, a little bit of movement here. So on your inhale, we're just going to reach our arms up over our head, stretch our fingertips up towards the ceiling, lengthen up. And then on your exhale, just release your hands down. We're going to do that 2 more times, following your own breath. So your inhale is going to lift your arms up. And your exhale is going to bring your hands back down. And one more time. Again, just connecting your breath and your movement. Inhale is going to bring your arms up. And exhale is going to bring those arms down. Good. And now you're just going to inhale one arm up above the head. Doesn't matter which one. We're going to do both sides. See if you can reach up through the fingertips a little bit more without bringing that shoulder to the ear, right? So relax the shoulder down, but lengthen up through the arms. And then you're just going to do a gentle side stretch here. So just reaching up and over. And just notice, right, what you feel in the side body, right? So maybe breathing some space in between the rib cage here. So a side stretch is actually obviously really good for opening up our side, but it also opens up our hips and our low back.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So on your next inhale, you're going to come on up, switch arms. So in yoga, right, we want to make sure we do everything the same on each side so we're nice and even. So we're going to lengthen up and over to the other side. Again, just breathing into that side body. Maybe noticing if there's a difference between your sides. There may not be, but one may feel a little bit tighter than the other. That's okay. It's pretty normal. Your next inhale, you're going to come back up. And once again, we're just going to reach both arms up, lengthen out through the fingertips, reach it up, and exhale the hands down. Now we're just going to take a gentle twist. So you can place one hand on the opposite knee or thigh. If you're sitting down, you can actually place the opposite hand on the back of the chair and just start to turn the chest open. And as you start to rotate in the chest, see if you can get a little bit heavier in the sit bones, right? So that you're really rooted. And on your inhale, see if you can actually lengthen up through the spine, getting a little bit taller. And then on your exhale, see if you can broaden across the chest a little bit more, twisting any amount more. And now you can keep your gaze out to the side or look back over your back shoulder. If you look back and it's too much pressure on your neck, take your gaze back out to the side. So again, moving to what feels good in your body. And
That's
then,
great.
yeah. And then we're going to come back to center and we're going to do it on the other side. So taking your opposite hand, again, either to your knee, your thigh, kind of whatever you did on the other side. Hand back behind you. And again, just connecting with that breath. So inhaling, lengthening up through the crown of the head. And on your exhale, just opening that chest, twisting a little bit more. Doesn't mean you have to do a lot of movement here, like open a ton, but just find that connection with the breath. And again, the gaze can be out to the side or to the back, over your shoulder, whichever feels better in your body. And then gently come back to center. Awesome. Just take a moment, shake that out, right? Little bit of movement there, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take one more inhale up, reaching those arms up. And on your exhale, bring your belly towards your back and just round and press the hands forward. So just feeling this rounding in the back. And then your inhale, you're going to come back up. And on your exhale, just bend the elbows and lift the chest up towards the ceiling. Just feeling a gentle back bend, just a gentle broadening, opening the heart. And then we're going to reach the arms back up. And exhale the hands down. Now we're going to just come back to the breath. So just like we started, right? So coming back to the breath, just noticing the body. Just taking a little moment here, right? Maybe taking like a little inventory, a little body scan. Like, does my body or breath feel any different with that little bit of movement, right? That connection to the body, that connection to the breath. And then when you're ready, just you can kind of come back to our space here, right? Bringing your attention kind of back to the screen, moving it a little bit away from yourself and the body. So listen, we all just did yoga together, right?
Yeah.
We all just took some time to stop, connect breath, connect movement. And again, yoga does not have to be very complicated or very vigorous poses. It can be, but it doesn't need to be. So I wanted to really show you guys, you could do this seated, right? You can do this in between meetings. You can do 5 minutes, 3 minutes of this a day, just to stop and create that connection, right? Because it's so available. And so thank you all so much.
Thank you for doing that with us. Like, that was super awesome. It took like 5 minutes and I feel open, my breath control, like this is great. So if you guys have any questions for Terry, go ahead and drop those in the chat. But while we're waiting, I do have one.
Yes.
So what advice would you have for someone who's like, you know what? I feel like I just don't have time to make time. You know what I mean? You know, it's the single mom who's working 2 jobs and the kids have Zoom and they have this, or you're working, you know what I mean? Like, or you may be in a space where it's just like, you have too much free time. You know, it's too much of a good thing where you don't really, you have so much time, you feel like you can't get anything done. So what advice would you have for someone who's like in an overwhelmed state?
Absolutely. Start small. 30 seconds. 60 seconds. Start small. And then you can build from there, right? So, and I would also say too, right, taking time to tend to your self-wellness and your self-care should be just as much as a priority as everything else you have going on. And so, one of the things, and I keep saying this, it's so important for everyone to just realize is it 30 seconds, 60 seconds, that's all you need, right? Does not have to be an hour-long practice. It does not have to be a 30-minute meditation. So I would recommend, my advice would be, when you wake up in the morning, that alarm goes off, take 1 minute, come to your breath, stop for a minute, maybe lift those arms, maybe do some forward folds, just take some time. Or when you're in the shower, right? Stop. Time, right? Take a mindfulness shower, right? You can even, that's a great time to stop, connect with the breath, right? And it's something that's already built into most of our days, right? And so
I hope so.
so that would be my biggest advice, is just start small, because you never want self-care to feel overwhelming, right? Like, oh, I've got
to need another thing to make you stressed out.
Oh, start small, build it into your day. And then you'll start to see naturally where does this fit, right? Where's the best time for me? So maybe morning's not the best time. Maybe it's right when the kids get back in Zoom after lunch break, right? So just kind of start small, right? Where does it fit in for you? And then once it becomes part of your routine, then you can start to expand it.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, Terry. Thank you for that amazing display of like how easy and quick yoga can be. Thank you for sharing your story. Again, you're going to drop it in the chat so all of the viewers know where they can find you if they want to connect with you offline. But thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Of course. Thank you all so much. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yes. You guys don't go anywhere. We are just getting started. We have Dominique coming back with, guess what? Giveaway time. So if you're ready to win something, make sure you're paying attention, because I heard about these prizes and they're legit. So I'm super excited. Hi. I don't think we can hear you. We can see your beautiful face, but we can't hear your beautiful voice. Uh-oh. I think you're frozen.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Woo! That was so good. I'm so excited. Thank you
That
so
was
much.
fantastic.
So, okay. So we're gonna do a quick flash giveaway. So I'm coming in and out, and we have some new people on here. So we got 10 people that's on the live that may have
Hey,
not
everybody.
known about Dream Academy Foundation. So thank you for joining. And we have some people in the room as well. Y'all make some noise. Woo! So, the first person that answers this will win a prize. Who does Dream Academy Foundation focus on? What age group?
Ooh, she said it earlier. I hope you guys are listening.
Let's see. You got time.
All right. Are we telling them what the prize is, Dominique?
We're not going to tell them yet. We got a bunch of prizes. So we're giving away an air fryer, a massage, facials, a meal prepping service, just for a bit, because that's still part of self-care. Because remember, Lenora, go ahead. Yay. You got it right.
Yeah.
Hey, Robert O'Neill. Yeah, so you new here too. Any other new ones? Oh.
So how does Lenora claim her prize?
Okay. Lenora, if you can respond to the email, or you can drop a message to Dream Academy with your email address and your contact information, and we will get you over your prize. Thank you so much.
Ooh, congratulations, Lenora.
All right, I'll head back over to you. We're gonna have some more, so stay tuned. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, so as I said, guys, we're just getting started. We still have 2 more amazing ladies coming to the stage. And coming up next is Lokelani. I'm super excited for you guys to meet her. It's about to be good. So if you just wait, I'm gonna bring her in. Just bring her in. Because I can't even give a proper introduction for her. She was super dope. Hi. Uh-oh, I think you're muted.
Okay. Afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.
You guys, I
pleasure to be here.
bios, and I was like, I can't even properly introduce. Like, I don't even want to shortchange how amazing your testimony, story, your business, everything that you're doing. So let's just kick things off with you kind of telling the audience a little bit about you.
Well, I just want to share, I appreciated Terry's presentation. It, in a sense, made me feel a bit small. I'm also a mindfulness educator. She helped me understand that is also in correlation with yoga, which I did not know. I am a mother of 4. I've worked in the behavioral and mental health field, especially families of my minority families, if you will, which I personally consider majority families, right? We started this land, and that are court appointed to receive behavioral and mental health services. So I've been actually an advocate in the field since coming out of high school, which was long ago now. I hate admitting that. But and now I'm a behavioral specialist focusing on clinical psych-D, which inevitably will allow me to visit some entrepreneurship that I would like to give back to the community for.
See, amazing. What did I tell y'all? You coming on here saying you feel small after the yoga presentation, and Terry is absolutely fantastic. So are you. That is so easy. And I think that's kind of Dominique's heart behind all of this, is that everything is needed. Everybody is needed. That's why it's so important for you to take care of yourself, because somebody needs you. Absolutely. So what you're doing, please don't feel like that's small. It's so important. And
Yes.
especially in communities for people of color, a lot of therapy, behavioral changes, and things like that are kind of frowned upon. Like, I think we've made a lot of progress in the last 15, 20 years, but we do still, unfortunately, have a long way to go. And so the
Long
work
way to go.
is so vital and so important to the livelihood and development of our people. So I'm just going to jump right in. So what do you think that we can do to start kind of combating some of those issues that we're having as people of color when it comes to the type of work that you're doing?
Gosh, I love the way you presented that we have so much further to go. Just as a people, just in a multicultural aspect of blended nationalities, if you will. So coming from a person of color, more than one color of minority, I'd love to know that we as a people are coming together. This last 12 months have been amazing in avocation for us as a people, people of color in particular, showing the strength, our strength base in the community. And I really love how it's being presented in the news, social media, etc. I've got to get a little bit better with social media as I have given up access years ago. So I need to rebranch that. But just definitely on the news, just seeing how our people are presenting themselves with minimal violence. Okay. I think identifying the need and not having to go at approaches in a violent manner is something that can be noted. I also advocate, along with mindfulness, supporting my families that I service in identifying signals and triggers. So we go into this conversation. Uh-oh, I sound like echoing. I'm sorry for that. We go into this conversation, a lot of what I see as a people and seeing someone just snapped, right? So I help families actually identify triggers before the signals. And knowing an example of that is, oh, Johnny just blew off the hinges and started, shooting stuff up. So we'll use as an example. And identify things really do trickle all the way. I love how our previous presenter, Miss Terry, introduced, and yourself as well, just knowing when to take that moment. So in mindfulness, is less of the physical attribute and more of that example that Terry showed in checking yourself out, even if it's forcefully, even if you mandate that time, that 3 minutes, and mindfully focusing on what I like to introduce as the body scan. So exactly. I love that, Mr. Robert, redirecting your anger. Absolutely. So checking yourself out so you can check back in, checking yourself out for servicing others. Absolutely. So you can check back in, allow yourself that body scan, but also identifying with that body scan, how is my heart beating? How is my stomach feeling? When I'm upset, what part of my organs are triggered or outcome suppression by that? And just being in tune with that as one. We do as women carry on a lot, and not no exclusion to our men, but as women we just naturally carry on a lot. Our burdens can weigh heavier than we would even realize, and our ability to check ourselves out is definitely most important. As mothers, as young women, as brides, as wives of many years, as new fleshly wives, as women in tune with our spiritual selves, as young women, a lot of our teen women, which is something I definitely want to focus on in the future. A lot of our young women get lost in translation. Our mothers are empowering us and showing us how beautiful we are, yet we're still kind of feeling empty, and that's where those deviants come in. Those men that pretend, or serpents as I call them, that come in and say, well, your mom is promoting you, but I think she says you're beautiful, but I feel you're sexy, that kind of thing. And us, we heard mom say we're beautiful. We heard even dad say we're beautiful, but he says I'm sexy. So I like that feeling. So even identifying with those feelings and emotions and how they it connect with how you'll feel in the future, is definitely something that needs to be even more so focusing on. So
Yeah, I agree. There's so many different topics that kind of fall under that umbrella of mental
absolutely.
especially when you, I mean, personal opinion here, are a victim of racial and systemic issues, then you kind of come into this world like fighting a losing battle. So being able to just process things within your own when you feel like the world is already against you feels like you're fighting a losing war. But I think that if we can kind of get away from some of those stigmas that are associated with mental health issues, then we can start to better ourselves as a people. So my question to you is kind of two parts. Like, what are some of the stigmas that we have in the people of color community when it comes to mental health, and how can we begin to kind of combat those?
So a lot of the stigmas that are there are what I've noticed just as a servant, is that we are not allowing the mental health aspect to even come into play. It's usually the elephant in the room, and even history and ancient years later, we're still not allowing that to happen. As much as mental health and behavioral health services exist, just in our families, we're speaking stuff into existence that is needless, and that looks like very much that we're ignoring it. Something like, oh, nothing's wrong with them, they're not the C word, crazy, if you will. And it isn't necessarily crazy, that stigma of crazy. And then, as you share, being a victim of, as someone of color, the crazy word, right, is seen as, amongst people of color, personally speaking, as well amongst our people, it's just something that's very forbidden. If we're of color, we can't be crazy. We can't have behavioral health issues. We can't. We won't tolerate that. We have to push through and move on. And we shouldn't have to. That's very forceful thinking. And
that's more pressure to have it all together all the time. It doesn't allow people to have the liberty to acknowledge their truth. And it's like, if you never even acknowledge that you're carrying the bag, when do you even give yourself the opportunity to put it down? And before you know it, you're bogged down and you're overwhelmed. And I think that in a lot of our communities, we find that if you can't visibly see it, then it's almost like it doesn't exist, because you talked about kind of just speaking things into existence. And, you know, we want to speak that we're going to have our dream car. We want to speak that we're going to like have all of these like physical things, but we don't allow ourselves to address the mental, because lots of times, even sometimes the things that we desire in the physical are tied to some type of mental thing that has happened in the past. Okay, well, my parents never had a car, so I'm going to get that Ferrari, or I'm going to get that Tesla. You know what I mean? So not to interject with you, but I think that the two are interlinked.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Those are great examples. Those are very precise examples, because first of all, social media is I don't want to be spiritual, but it's definitely the devil itself. For our young people, it does promote that. Okay, my parents didn't have the best working car. And this is for even people of color, and because I usually look at it, and as time moves forward in my professional and personal life, and growth, it all boils down past people of color. It boils down to rich versus poor. And either we're trying to keep up with the Jones or move past the Jones. So the working class, even to our young people, are at times looked down upon as well. It's because a conversation I was having with one of the youth I was servicing last week. Oh, well, if my parents, he has a middle class child, if you will, and he has some challenges he's working through, but he has a conversation. If my parents work really hard, then we could have got a mansion. So, and just reminded him, of course, to think of reality. And majority of those people were either built or born with a silver spoon in their mouths, if you will. So they inherited those riches, or they did some things that, was 1 in a million and they blew up. But social media is definitely something that is pushes especially our youth, our millennials, and even those underneath them, to fantasize or try to gain access to things that are very unrealistic and not immediately attainable. So
I totally agree. And I don't know if you heard my intro, but like that's my profession. That's what I do. I have clients for social media, and for my personal business, I have 3 pillars. We have to be consistent, we have to be strategic, but we also have to be authentic. I don't believe in just only putting the best, like, it's kind of like your window display. Yes, we want to put out high quality things and we want to like get people to like want to buy into your business, but let's also just be honest, especially when I work with people who have personal brands. Like, it's okay to say that it wasn't always this good. It's okay to say that, you have to start at the bottom and work your way up, or that, because it always feels like once you get to a certain point, then problems just disappear. And that's not true. Like, as a business owner, like what's your day-to-day like? Do you have days where you're just exhausted? I think that's a real thing, because it seems like once you hit a certain tax bracket, all of a sudden everything is just sunshine and rainbows. And it's like, you still got to do the 3-minute yoga in between the minutes.
Absolutely.
Tell them that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you very much, Portia, as a business owner as well, entrepreneur as well, just hit it on the nail. You still have to check yourself out. Checks and balances. Self-care is something that is dynamic, should be mandated, especially amongst the working class, because it doesn't, once you move to that next bracket, to me, the challenges seem to go away, but they open opportunity for more challenges. So,
what did you say? More money, more problems?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You hear about these celebrities, you hear about what's her name? The fashion designers and the people, like Robin Williams, someone who's been famous for a good duration of his life. These people who have access to basically anything in the world, and they're committing suicide because there's still mental health issues that need to be dealt with. So what advice would you have for someone who's maybe a little younger or a little older, and they're looking to get into like starting to take care of their mental health, but they really just don't know where to start?
You know what? So back to social media, right? So as you tunnel your business through social media. So social media can be Satanized, but it can also nowadays in this day and age can be helpful in even acknowledging your symptoms of mental illness, right? Another thing I wanted to mention, so ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, is something that is overlooked as well. That's another diagnosis that people of color dismiss. You're just you're nothing's wrong with you. You're wild, right? So even those can run concurrent. Even that diagnosis can run concurrent with another ailment, a mental illness, and just tapping in with that social media instead of watching the twerking and things like that, using those hashtags to like behavioral health, mental illness, behavioral health of color, if you will, men and behavioral health, mental health.
Girl therapy.
Absolutely. Bad girl therapy. Yes, I love that. Yes, tapping in the same channel that you tap in, or others would tap in to what they enjoy, to tap into the more seriousness of what do I need. So of course, as we process through life, we have needs and wants. So our needs must suffice, which goes back into the self-care and checking ourselves out, more preferably than our wants. So
yes, absolutely. Because social media is a tool, right? So it's all about how you choose to use it. There's people who are making money on it. There's people who are making connections on it. And there's people who are doing things that we're not even going to talk about right now.
Absolutely not. Yes.
That shall not be named, but it's all about how you choose to use it. And one of the things that I tell myself in my daily time to with the Lord and by myself is that you only have one life. You can't just spend day to day being bogged down, overwhelmed, worried about what people think about you, worried about, like if you are ever going to be able to, afford this certain kind of house, like, because you can't take those things with you. You want to be able to enjoy your life. And I read this somewhere, I don't recall where, but it's like, when people are on their deathbed and they're knocking at death's door, the things that they regret are not the things that were hanging in their closet, or how many shoes they had, or how many cars were in their driveway, or what kind of house they lived in. They regret not spending time with their loved ones, not taking better care of themselves, not eating healthy. All of these things are impacting your mental health. Like, okay, you hyping yourself up, you hanging out with your girls, and you're doing all the fun self-care, but how about you go to therapy and talk about your relationship with your dad? How about you stop eating Flamin' Hots for breakfast and like take care of yourself? Like, all of these things are a part of, your mental health. And I'm so thankful that we have people like you who are advocates for our community and our culture. And I think that we're getting a lot better, but there still is, like you said, that stigma attached to it because people don't want to be the C word as you claim. But like, there's no shame in talking to someone. My personal opinion, you want to know what I think, Leilani?
Absolutely.
I have a cousin named
You're
Leilani.
fine.
Leilani. I think that everybody needs to go to therapy because we all have something that we haven't dealt with. What do you think about that? Is therapy for everybody?
I think therapy, I have my own therapist. So I think therapy should be for everyone. We all, yes, we all have someone, because we connect with strangers, or trust strangers with our information. Strangely enough, more than we would trust our family or friends, because we have a feeling that they would respect confidentiality in that manner. So we jump on our therapist and what have you, so they can help us process through. And I love that, Portia, because and I would love even more so if we would promote from within. And me saying that is when we do support our Black Lives Matter, which needs to prevail and continue on forevermore, until they get it right. We want to promote within. So we want to promote our Black brothers, but we want them to promote us as well, right? Just speaking from a woman, we want them to help us identify signs and not just say, "Oh, you're okay." Even back to ADHD, rooting with that. Even in adults, does it exist? And even most of the time, the majority of the time, is it ignored? Because we're just, as you mentioned, very lovely. We're processing through. We're processing through life. We're balancing our loads, be it our husbands, be it our own load, be it our professional, personal development. We're balancing these loads. And when do we have time for that? Well, we have time for it, and we have to make sure that we do it. And with our partners, be it even whether it's our brothers or our sisters, whatever our choice of relationship, helping us as well identify, hey, you seem off today. You seem off lately. Maybe you need to check yourself out, even if for a few minutes. Do that body scan, talk to yourself. I love how you also presented, you tapped in with your spirituality. And that's a huge part of the mindfulness that I support, as a mindfulness educator. It is tapping that in. And if you are spiritually in tune, you want to talk with him and you want to hear back what should happen next, your next step. If not spiritual, so be it. But just connecting with your own self and recognizing and identifying that need. What does my body need? What does my mind need? Because without our mind operating correct, it can't communicate with the rest of the organs in our body, so which is where basically a cutoff of life support. Without our brain, we're not functioning. So tapping in with mental health, checking ourselves out for those body scans, ignoring signs. That's the majority of the time, us as people of color, multicultural, as someone coming from, I say this repeatedly because I'm very big on just coming from a two minority nationalities, just knowing that that is strong. We're ignoring signs, we're not getting help, and then it looks like a stroke, then it is a disease, then it is something, and we look back on it and we're like, how did I get it? Because we didn't allow time to do those checks to see what was off. And now our body has accumulated all that stress. And then in return, giving us something, our body's working harder than it needs to. And then in turn, giving us something, now we have to reality check. And okay, now I'm going to take care of myself. So
that's so true. That's so true. Now, I think that you also have something that you want to do with our viewers here as well.
I was going to implement the share a little of the mindfulness, and Miss Terry actually went through that, and I love her for that. But basically, doing that body scan, even if it's only the 3 minutes, allowing yourself that time. I have even done body scans with my those I service within a 2-minute period. And for those with a lot of a huge load on their plate, 2 minutes is a very long time. It seems like a moment of crisis. We're waiting too long, but we can do it, and we should use that body scan, identifying how your heart is beating, how your stomach is reacting to what you're doing in the moment. Just being in that moment, taking those breaths very slowly. I love how Miss Terry just piggybacking, because it was so strengthening her sample of it, her modeling that, but just at your breath, at your pace. And you can put on that timer and allowing yourself that time to check out. And then how can you service others if you're no good? So allowing yourself that time and giving back.
Yeah, and there's even so many resources available. I know the Calm app, CALM, Calm app is very popular, and I see the ads for it on YouTube all the time. And it's funny because it always comes on like when I'm up at night when I really shouldn't be up. And it gives such a good reminder, though, just kind of like talking to your point of the body scan. And it's like, feel all of your toes, allow your body to like sink into the bed. Feel like your legs relax. Like when you really like take the time to really think about those things and feel that body scan happening. Oh, it's a whole different type of relaxed. Like you feel like you just took off a whole suit of armor. Like you feel so much lighter. So I love that description. Body scan. So is there any recommendations aside from the Calm app that you have for our viewers?
There's mindfulness.com. It introduces, so mindfulness is not only to check out. They even have mindful eating, which is a newer approach, a more modern approach to help with weight loss that they're doing now. It's a different name for it, for the practice, but it definitely taps in. It's CBT, which is cognitive, behavioral therapy approach, and it's said to be helping with the weight loss, but I could definitely, just as a mindfulness educator, see how that could promote weight loss. We're not very, especially us on the go, we're not at all mindful when we eat. We're probably not mindful when we brush our teeth, but they have all kind of mindfulness practices. YouTube is excellent for that. Not only, I know yoga strengthens that physical aspect of it, but for me, tapping into the brain is very essential. Is very, again, something that's well needed, especially amongst us people of color, because when we look up, we've lost so much time and our failing health. And so just reminding ourselves of that. Preventative care.
I love it. That's so helpful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So
Thank you for having me.
know in the chat where we can find you. I know you mentioned mindfulness.com, but also just like any personal. I know how you feel about social media, but if you have any personal,
no, Miss Portia, I am not anti social media. I had checked out years ago, and I do actually need to check back in. So I do. Yes. And just so I can be accessible. So everything I do is more contract. Yes, exactly, Miss Alexandria. Yes, mindfulness eating, absolutely, right? Because she's on the go, probably. But I definitely have an email that I can be reached. Just for questions and answers. And with Miss Amber's help, I was gonna surprise her and ask her to help. But I would love to get back on social media, especially just to promote my advocacy and how I service others. I'm a servant by nature, and that's definitely what I love to do. So yes.
Awesome. Great. So we're going to get those things in the chat. So thank you so much. I appreciate you just sharing your expertise and your perspective. It's highly valued and definitely needed at this time and age. And I can't wait to harass you about getting you back on social media so more people can hear about the amazing things that you have to say.
Yes, I will be in touch very soon, Miss Portia. Thank you guys for having me. Lovely ladies.
Awesome. Okay, guys. So you know what? It's giveaway time again. So I hope you guys were listening earlier because I'm getting ready to bring back Dominique and she's going to give us another trivia question. So if you want to go ahead and try to win this time, we already had someone win already. I want to say it was Lenora. Well, Lenora won earlier. So trivia time, giveaway time. She said there's prizes like air fryers, I think gift cards, and it's going to be really, really dope. And then from there, we'll bring on our last speaker of the afternoon. Okay, Miss Dominique, what you got for us this time?
Hey, how's everyone doing? So first, before I go with the giveaways, how can people, yes, I love giveaways, gifts. It's part of my love languages. But those that are here, and
Share, guys.
In the bottom, if you are getting any good things out of today, let us hear some of it. Let us know that you're here. Tell us where you're from. Tell us where you're from. We're happy that you're here and joining us for our self-care conference. We are so excited.
Okay. Listen, it's great. Most definitely enjoying myself. Yes. We love to hear it. Chicago.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
It was breaking up.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Oh, we got Henderson, Nevada in the house.
Okay. All right.
Las Vegas.
Woo!
Kansas City. Yes.
I'm from outside of Chicago. Western suburbs. Woo-woo! Kansas City.
Suburbs, yes.
Awesome.
Alexis, that's awesome.
Thank you, everyone. So, thank you for interacting with us. And also, after the live, or to go through to see, am I still?
Yes, we can still hear you.
Hello? Yeah. Okay. After the live, we are going to go through and give a prize out to the most interactive. Okay. If it's still an issue, we'll pull it out. That's fine. Okay. All right. So pay attention to what's the screen because it may be a giveaway. Okay. Okay. So first question. Okay, I'm still breaking up.
I can't hear you, but you're freezing.
That's fine. We'll pull out and we can go to the next segment. I'll come back for the next speaker. It's okay.
Okay, so we're gonna postpone the giveaway until at the end. But in the meantime, I'm gonna bring up our last speaker, who is my home girl, Miss Amber J, and we're gonna be talking about self-esteem because it's great to do your yoga. It's great to try to, take care of your mindfulness, but all of that should be coming to the goal of you fueling and taking care of yourself, feeling good about yourself. So let's just check in real quick. I want to know in the comments, not just where you guys are coming from, but how are you feeling today? Like, how are you feeling about you? Is there anything that you guys want to ask ahead of time when Amber comes on? Because I know for me, I had a personal self-esteem journey where, like a lot of people, I wasn't always as confident as I am today. And it's not just the typical, oh, you get picked on or in school, or, oh, I didn't like this one thing about myself. Like, it genuinely and truly took me until I was an adult to really understand what it means to really self-love myself. Because it's not just about accepting your physical, but also being able to accept all of the things that you are, your traumas, your mistakes, and understanding that everything that you've been through is a sum of who you are, and accepting your flaws, so to speak, because we're always growing, always developing, always changing. And for me personally, it was just like, okay, I don't want to live every day of my life not feeling good about myself. And it wasn't just a diet thing, or it was just a decision to be able to say, I'm going to love me for who I am. I'm going to love my curls and, my slanted eyes and all of this stuff too. But I'm also going to take accountability and say that I don't always get it right, and take that pressure off of myself to be able to not just accept myself, but love myself and know that God created me with a special purpose, and like he does everyone else. So in the meantime, it's just, I don't know, it's been an incredible journey, honestly. Like, when you get to that point of when you love yourself truly, you appreciate every bad thing that's ever happened, and you walk with a different type of purpose. Like, I know this is virtual, so you guys can't see me, but I'm a very petite girl. I'm like 5'2" and 125 pounds. So like, I'm very small, but when I walk into the room, you feel my presence. My confidence is 6 feet tall, if not taller. Like, you're going to feel me, not in an aggressive way, but you feel me in a way where, like, it's just there's something about her. And for me personally, I feel like that comes from not just my walk with God, but also being able to love myself and accept myself for who I am, because there's no one who's going to be able to knock me down a notch. So I'm excited. Like, I've been in the process of writing this book. I know everybody has a book, but if you're in the process of writing a book too, and I'm going to tell you guys about it in a second, but don't let oversaturation stop you from doing the thing that God has called you to do. If you feel like God is calling you to write a book, hold a conference like this, to speak to somebody, make that move. Don't be afraid to make that move, because just because you feel like everybody's doing it, it doesn't mean that you aren't called to do it too. Because when you're called to something, God will provide the resources. He'll provide you with the right people. And there's a tribe of people who are ready to support and love and just encourage you to do the thing that you're supposed to do. So don't let anybody, whether it's your cousin, your mom, anybody, stop you from doing the things that you're supposed to do. So for me, that just so happens to be a book, because I know without a shadow of a doubt that everything that's happened to me is not just for me. I know that it's also for somebody else. Like, I don't believe that we go through things just because we're supposed to suffer. I believe that we're supposed to share that with other people so that they can have the journey be a little bit easier. Like, if you're anything like me, you sat down with a grandmother, a great aunt, just an older person in the neighborhood, and you take up that wisdom from them. And, when you get to that fork in the road and it's time for you to make a decision, you remember what you've heard from somebody else, and it keeps you from going down that same road and making that same mistake that they made. So don't be afraid to share your story. I know that you've had some hard things that may have happened to you, and people who have mistreated you, and it felt like it was for no reason at all, and you didn't understand why you were being picked on. There's times where you felt like, why is everybody against me? Why is God allowing this to happen? Or whatever it is that you believe. But stand firm, knowing that all of that has a purpose. For me personally, it's always going to be a faith walk. So one of the things I like to say is that, okay, this is going to be an 8:28 moment based on Romans 8:28 in the Bible that says that all things work together for good for those that love God and are called according to his purpose. So when something doesn't make sense to me and I don't understand why it's happening, I'm like, okay, this is going to be one of those 8:28 moments where it doesn't make sense now, but in the future, I know that it's going to make sense to me and it's going to be all a part of my story for me to come back together. And yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm going on a little tangent, you guys, but I just wanted to share that part as well. So we are going to have more giveaways. We are going to be bringing up Amber. If this is resonating with anybody, you guys let me know in the comments. If you have had people count you out, if you have had people say that you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, you know, let me know down in the comments. Can you relate? Because I'm here to tell you guys that, yes, you can do whatever it is that you believe that you can do. I think that we tell kids that, we hear that growing up, but then we get to a point in life where we just don't think that is applicable to our lives anymore. And that's a lie from the enemy. And you got to cast that thing back to the pit of hell where it belongs. What God has called you to do, not only will he give you the resources to do it, but he's going to see you through. And I would hope that you would just have that mustard seed of faith to be able to do that thing. So you can be that boss that, you know, is taking, you might need to take the 3-minute breathing session, but now that you know that you can do that and run your business efficiently, run yourself efficiently, run your family efficiently. And everything doesn't have to be about being a business owner in order to be successful. Taking care of your family, taking care of your children, taking care of yourself, even if it's just you're a single person living by yourself, getting up and doing your day-to-day, that is still a success. It doesn't have to be this textbook thing of, oh, this person made $1 million. They went from the streets to the, you know, owning a company. It doesn't have to be that complicated. That's not everybody's story. For me, like some of my greatest heroes are the people who nobody knows their name. The lady who, you know, let me know in the comments if you guys remember this. So I'm an 80s baby and I grew up in Chicago in the 90s where we had candy ladies and, you know, we played outside and, you know, we did all those fun things. So some of the biggest heroes in my life are the people who no one knows their name. The lady who sold candy in my neighborhood, she was the sweetest lady and she used to just speak life into us kids. She always told us girls we were beautiful. She always told the boys they were handsome. She sold us candy, but also told us that we could do anything we wanted to do. And she's like, you know, sometimes she would be like, save your money, go put it in your piggy bank. Like those people are also as impactful as, you know, the Bill Gates or the Michael Jordans who have public success, but it's also as important and it's also successful for you to just be making an impact on people and being a good person. I did a video called 10 different ways to feel beautiful. And I talked about some outward things like, you know, doing your makeup, putting on clothes that make you feel good, but also being a good person, talking to other people with kindness. Like when you check out in the grocery store, just, you know, telling that person, thank you for, you know, doing your job, because a lot of people have thankless jobs. Being kind to people just in passing, being kind, being forgiving. Can we talk about that for a second? Being forgiving with people is very, very beautiful. And that is also a success. For someone to hurt you and think, let's just take a moment. I want you guys to take a moment and remember the last time somebody really hurt you, whether it was a family member or a relationship. Remember how you felt in that moment when you found out they were cheating or that person said that harsh thing to you. How did you feel in that moment? It hurt, right? You never wanted to speak to that person again. You couldn't believe that they had betrayed you like that. After everything you did for them, that's how they're going to treat you. And where are you now with it? Can you forgive that person? Being able to forgive somebody, that's successful. For you to go to how you felt in that moment when they hurt you, to be able to get up every day, go to work, take your kids to school, you know, go get your hair cut, go do whatever. For you to be able to do that after you experience such hurt and such trauma and still be able to possibly interact with that person, to be able to forgive them and say, you know what, even if you don't apologize, I'm going to forgive you because I don't want to block my blessing. That is successful. That's beautiful. I think sometimes we we experience these things and we don't give ourselves enough credit for the people that we've become. Like sometimes we look and we think, oh, I'm so glad I'm not the way I used to be. You know, when I was at 20 and I was, you know, drinking and doing this and acting crazy and fighting girls in the clubs or whatever. I don't know what y'all were doing, but thinking about like how much growth we've experienced. Like take a moment sometimes and acknowledge the growth that you've had. Because I think that there's so much expectation for us to be on all the time and, you know, just continue to do the day-to-day. Like take a moment and acknowledge that you've grown. You're not that person that you used to be. You're able to forgive now. You're able to like be friendly and be kind and not be so short with people. Let me tell you guys, I'm a friendly person by nature. And I used to try to downplay it because I felt like people would think that I was phony because I was so friendly. But that has aided me in so many ways, like not even just networking, but just I can't tell you guys how many free cups of coffee I have gotten at Starbucks just because I'm just nice to them. And they're like, you know what? No one else has said thank you. No one has asked me how my day is going. And coffee's on us today. Or where people have recommended clients for me. I have a social media business. People have recommended clients to me, like, you know, oh, she's always so sweet. I know, you know, she always works hard. Let me refer this person to her. So just being a good person, it is. My grandmother used to have a saying, and it perfectly sums up what I'm trying to say. You catch more flies, and I don't know why you would want to catch flies, but you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. Let me know in the comments if you've ever heard a grandmother, a great aunt, a great uncle, or anybody say one of those sayings like that. You catch more flies with honey than vinegar. So be honey, guys. Don't be vinegar. Don't let this world corrupt your good character. Most of us are good people. We just go through traumatic experiences that cause us to want to hurt other people, because hurt people hurt people. And if you're going around hurting people, that means that you're still hurt. So you may need a double dose of the yoga, or you need to go ahead and maybe schedule that appointment with a therapist. And there's nothing wrong with being hurt as long as you're not hurting other people or yourself. But you do want to take the action and be proactive in getting the healing that you need. So I'm done my little rant. I think we're going to be bringing Dominique back to go ahead and come up with the giveaway for you guys. So let me know in the comments if you guys are excited for this giveaway. Thank you guys. You guys are so sweet. I appreciate the love. Dominique, I went on a tangent. Give me a mic on the top.
Hey, oh my goodness, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Portia. That was all in your heart, and you just shared your heart with us, and we thank you for sharing it. Oh my goodness, that was so good. And one thing that really stood out to me when you said that you had to kind of minimize or not be so nice because people thought you would be phony. Like people, you can be, you know, real people. You know, a real person nice all the time. Like that's not, no, don't minimize who you are. And I was like that too. And anybody in the comments, had you had, you know, be phony or kind of change because people didn't think that was who you really are? Like, yeah, I love you selfless and not getting things back. I can connect with someone else and not want something else in return and keep it moving. I can even men that open up the door and thinking women, you know, men can be nice. There are still men.
That's so true.
Like your expectation, I expect good things to come to me. And I expect people and I expect to do good. Plain and simple. Like I don't think in people, I think the best in people. Right? So
bring your authentic self every single day.
Every single day. You're going to get the pure me. And don't let anybody taint that. Don't let people have that control over you.
Amen.
They don't need that control over you. You won't change my love. You keep it moving.
Amen. I love it. And that's why we're connected.
Yes. Oh, let me tell you this. So let me share this story. So Portia and I, this was actually our first time seeing each other face to face. I've been watching her for about maybe 2 to 3 years, and she's been consistent. Okay. Now, my Facebook friend, and I feel like she's my friend in real life. And yes,
we're friends in real life. We just haven't met in real life, but it's gonna transfer over. I already know.
yes, and she has been consistent. Okay, and I'm like, you know what? She needs to be at this conference. I want her to be a moderator. And believe it or not, she said, "Didn't you say this was like your first time?"
I've done it before, but I haven't done it virtually like this.
Wow. And has she been doing a great job? Even in that, yes, people in the chat, she's doing phenomenal, okay? She know how to connect. She know how to be, authentic. And I think
thank you so much.
She was the perfect choice.
I'm honored.
Yes, I'm honored we are honored to have you. And this will not be the only I can't even talk. Oh my goodness. The only connection that we have. We're going to be doing more things with Portia, and I just thank you for being part of the dream team. So thank you. Thank you, Robert. He said it has been great. So okay. So we got some other great things happening, and I want to even bring out a couple of pieces. So I know you all didn't hear before, but we're going to do some giveaways, and pay attention to the screen, okay? Pay attention to the screen. One hint. Okay. So before we ask who was here and where you was from, so I think we're going to give away something to individuals that have been the furthest. So I know we saw Henderson, Nevada. Do we have anyone else? Do we have some East Coast here? Oh, Kansas City? Okay, I saw Kansas City earlier. Anyone else? And we're gonna probably have, if we have East Coast, then we're gonna have to figure out like with the mileage, or we'll give you two. We'll give out one in the West Coast, East Coast, Southern Kansas City, if you're still here. And we'll get one in Chicago.
In Vegas. Get 2 people in Nevada.
Okay.
That's awesome. I love it.
Okay, so we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna send you a message, so please check your spam when you have one and everything like that. So, ways to relax. New ways to relax that you have heard from our different speakers? 3 different new ways that you're going to implement. Can you put it down in the chat?
Ooh.
So one thing that I learned. Oh, I can get it.
I learned a couple things today. What did you learn?
One new way I was going to do is mindful shower, meaning I'm a quick person. Like I'm going in and out. Everything's so quick. I need to slow it down. Even now, I'm going so quick. Self-love.
That was a good one, because my showers are either one or 2 things. Either it's a turn up shower where I got my playlist on and we in there and we dancing and we scrubbing up dancing is what I like to call it. Or I have my showers where I'm like having an emotional moment and it's like a prayerful shower. I have my soaking music on and I'm in there and I'm literally just like trying to get it all out.
Oh yeah.
But that's still different from her mindfulness. And I'm like, just to go in and connect. That's great. Okay, Robert.
Okay, so that is a good one. So I'm gonna even take that one as well. I have noticed that sometimes I don't breathe. Do people know they really hold their breath? Like I really want to challenge everyone to, when you're walking around or when you're in the car or whatever the case, to really be present to breathing. Probably about 3 months ago, one of my friends was telling me about how she was always kind of out of breath and just holding her breath. Then when she brought that up, I'm like, I hold my breath too. So good one, Lenora. Yes. So I would challenge everyone to be mindful of how you breathe and how often you breathe. And when you have this anxiety, take a moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, yoga, mindful shower, waking up a few minutes earlier in the morning. Madeline will probably have to be going to bed a few minutes earlier because I am not a morning person. I'm a midday person, but not that morning no more.
I love the morning.
Oh, you're the friend I'm talking about. Oh my goodness.
I'm that
Yes.
person. I'm that person. Telling you
Okay.
about you, like, yes.
Lenora may have won again. Yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, Lenora.
Okay, Lenora.
Big
I might have
gift.
to hit you up in the DMs. Let's get.
Yeah, you're gonna get a bigger one now. We're gonna upgrade it, okay? You may even have some choices. So thank you.
Ooh.
Linda, Mama Linda, Antonia for responding. And Lisa, thank you. Robert, we did pick you up too, so thank you. So I said this before. It's the best way to kind of put this. So, you know what? Self-care equals. What have I said? I said it throughout the event. It's been around. What did I say? Do you love self-care? Self-care equals. Oh, stop, I said that.
It was on the screen, guys.
Anybody was paying attention?
Oh, Lenora. Lenora coming for all
Great in class, Lenora. Yes, you was amazing in class. We're gonna give you, thank you. And let me tell you how this came about, and then we'll get on to the next speaker and everything. But I was talking to my mentor, and he was just, and I had it separate between self-love and self-care, and I didn't feel like they were the same. And he said self-love equals self-care. Do you love yourself? You're going to take care of yourself. You're going to take time to rest. You're going to take time to go see a therapist. You're going to take time to, write in that journal, whatever self-love looks for. You're going to be able to do that. And when we broke it down to me, if I love myself, self-love. If I love myself, I will take care of myself. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So now I married the two. You cannot have self-love and not have self-care. And that was the awakening that I had because I felt like it was two different things. Did anybody else think that was two different things? I hope I'm not. But I love myself. So I said, oh no, I'm taking care of myself a lot more than what I've been doing.
That part.
So I challenge each and every one of you. You love yourself. Come on, implement some of these self-love tactics. You owe it to yourself. Okay?
I love it.
Good, Robert. You actually take time alone to just be by yourself.
Ooh, I need it. That's how I recharge my batteries, Dominique. I'm a social person, but I gotta be by myself to recharge my batteries.
But you know what? I am, I'm with you too. But I get charged of being around people. So the pandemic was a little bit different for an extrovert like me.
It was tough. Yeah.
Yes. So now we have to find new ways for extroverted people. We have introverted good time. Y'all was loving it.
Yes. I still am just like finding new ways to get around people because I do need it. I need the time alone, not too much of it. I need the time with other people, but not too much of it. I'm a true ambivert.
Okay. But then too, you in tune with who you are and what you need. And that's so yes. So we're gonna get I think that's it. Yeah, that's all we're gonna do right now. And so we're gonna keep on with the conference and I'm gonna leave. All right. Bye.
Bye. So we have one more final segment for you guys. I am super duper stoked. Guys, we're gonna get to chat with my girl, Miss Amber. I know I keep saying this, I don't want to speak for people, but she really is amazing. We've crossed paths at church before and have had some amazing conversations over the last couple of weeks. And so I just know that she's going to be coming and bringing you guys with so much wisdom, so much knowledge. We're going to be talking about purpose and self-esteem and just kind of rounding out everything that we've talked about this afternoon. Again, she is just a wealth of knowledge, and I'm super excited for you guys to talk to her today. So I'm going to be bringing her on, and we're going to try not to make a girlfriend conversation. But if you guys have questions in advance about purpose or self-esteem, go ahead and drop those in the chat as I get ready to bring her on.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey everyone. How is everyone doing? So
Full.
Thank you, Portia, for that introduction. I was over here like, wait, is she talking about me? You are amazing, amazing, amazing. I am so glad that God put us together. If I'm gonna say God, because that is who I pray to and who I worship and honor. So I thank him for giving me someone like Portia and Dominique and everyone else. Lokalani is my big sister. She is one of my mentors. She is absolutely amazing. Terry, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I just want to run it down. Briefly, I am a behavior therapist by trade. I also am the director of sponsorship and events for Dream Academy Foundation. I am a new author. I have a book coming out June 19th. Yes, 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 guys. I am a certified life coach, as well as I am certified for counseling for adolescents and teens. So
basically,
hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I see people speaking to me. My mom and my dad are both on here.
Hi, parents.
Hi, family. Thank you guys so much for joining me.
Yes, so you mentioned you have a book coming out.
Yes,
what is this book about, Miss Amber Lachey?
Oh God, the book is about a lot, but the book is about identity, and I speak about being able to be solidified in your identity and what it really means to be identified, not by who you know or what you do, but by your purpose and who God calls you. So we are all sons, we are all daughters, and when we step in that authority of knowing who we are, then we can navigate through self-love and self-care when you really understand who you are and the power that you have as a person.
Yes, absolutely. So, yes. And that all is so important. Like I was kind of touching on that a little bit earlier, but you use the word in particular, identity. Uh-oh, are you frozen? Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, there you go. Wait, can you hear us, Amber?
Can everyone?
I can hear you. Okay,
yes,
there you go.
I was. Can everyone? Okay, I was frozen. I don't know what was going on over here. But yes. So that is what the book is about. The book is about identity and purpose and dealing with those traumas and those hidden things that we have so that we can be our best selves. I am the queen of being and becoming the best person that you can possibly be, not allowing things in your past or circumstances to dictate who you are and what you're capable of doing.
I love it. So let's kind of talk about identity a little bit. Okay. A lot of people feel like it comes from different places. Like, okay, my identity is, my parents and, my experiences, the college I went to, the person I choose to marry. But what's your take on identity? How do we begin to see ourselves outside of just our choices, but like who we truly are?
Yes. Great question. Great. Literally, in the book, I talk about that because that is something that I struggle with identity. When you are, for me, I was raised in the church, born in the church. I was known as that Sister Linda Dawn, that's me. Like I felt, I'm like, my name Amber, this is who I am. A lot of times, that is what we attach our identities to, like who our parents are, what we can accomplish. I'm going to be honest. I was a career, that type of thing. I felt like that's who made me who I was, what I did, what I can accomplish. I knew that I had skills, and that is what gave me value. So then when I got to a place where that started to shift and I didn't see significance in the things that I was doing, then I felt unidentified, because all of that time I was placing identity in those things versus I am who I am just because I was born. My birthright came from when I came into the earth and God called me his daughter. That gave me identity right there. But because I was putting identity in other things, when I went through an identity crisis, it was more so because I was putting the wrong perspective on myself.
That part.
Seeing who I was through a lens of, well, this is what I can do, but that has nothing to do with identity. That does not give you validation by what you can do and what you can accomplish. That has nothing to do with who you are. Now, that's a part of what you can do, but when it comes to your identity, your birthright comes from when you stepped into this earth, you had a purpose. So when my purpose, that is where I started to place my identity, when I realized that, hey, I'm just here. I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes, but this is who I really am, which is I'm just God's daughter.
Yeah.
That makes me qualified right there. I don't have to do anything else. I don't have to get another degree. I don't have to go to another academy. I don't have to hang with this group of friends. My identity was solidified just in that, in being God's daughter.
That part, talk about it. Because I think we talked about this a little bit offline, but a few years ago, a lot of people were holding those kind of women's conferences, empowerment conferences, and everything was about purpose, 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 purpose. But in order to know your purpose, you have to know who you are. So you have to start with that identity before you can even start to do anything. And sometimes that means just going back to the bare bones of I'm God's daughter, I'm God's son, because his word says that he formed us in our mother's womb. So who you were was who you are before you were even born. So before the scholarship to Harvard, before the business came about, before your parents even had the opportunity to start to raise you, you were who you are. Like there's some people who just have it. Some people just are naturally musically inclined. You don't have to go take a lesson anywhere. That's just who you are. And I think sometimes people get caught up in the accolades of things and not who they are. Like I have a friend who was in the NBA, and then after he wasn't anymore, he went through a crisis because he's like, who am I outside of an NBA player? Who am I outside of basketball? Like, what happens when you don't have a business anymore? What happens when your parents are gone? They're not anymore. You have to stand on your own. Like, who are you outside of that? So how did you kind of start to figure out your purpose once you came into your identity? How did that impact your self-esteem? Like, what was that day-to-day like?
Well, first, I had to deal with all of the layers in me that made me feel like those things made me adequate. So I had to start going through and start dealing with the self-rejection I had, the self-hate, all of those things inside of me, like really deal with the things that led me to think like, okay, well, this makes me who I am. Well, no, that doesn't. So let's unlayer, like, why is this important to you? Why does having a $500 purse, like what it's creating those things? So once I started those things about what was important to me, why was important to me, why do I have this, and start, like I said, unlayer, really healing. Because that's the whole thing, is a lot of times when we have different perspectives, it's because we aren't healed from something, or we're seeing things from a tainted perspective. So dealing with the way that I saw myself, really dealing with that identity, really picking up those broken lenses and saying like, well, I actually really don't like this. I'm just doing this out of formality, or doing this is because this is what people have given me. So but that wasn't really, what was important. That wasn't really what it was. So I had to unlayer some things and figure out who I really was by making some hard decisions every day, making a decision. Okay, this is what I'm going to tolerate. This is what I'm not going to tolerate. Hey, I don't feel like it today. Having that moment of self-care, I'm going to turn my phone off, or I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to work, us, when you grow up in a fast-paced life, you feel like, okay, I gotta always be on the go. I gotta be doing
Go. Yep.
Identity being busy. But is it really being busy or is it being productive? And if what doesn't make sense in my purpose, because a lot of us are doing a whole lot of things that has nothing to do with what we're called to do. So once you really figure out that this is where I am, this is who I am, this is what I'm called to do, you become intentional about the things that you do, about the things that you say, the things that you operate in. You make it make sense. You know, it's that I'm just doing this just because. No, what is the point of this? Why am I doing this?
Absolutely.
And then you're able to produce better.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to step outside of your comfort zone and try new things too. Because like you said, we kind of just sometimes we don't even know why we're doing things. Everybody else got a Louis Vuitton or a Chanel bag, so I'm going to go get a $7,000 bag too, even though I have all this debt that I need to pay and these student loans and things to deal with, but I want to feel included. And so you start to get to that root of, okay, I've never felt like I was a part of something. So that's why I really want to get this bag. I don't even really like the way it looks that much. I just want to feel included. So I think that sometimes you have to get outside and other cultures, they do things differently. Like, go outside of America, go outside of your city, like go outside the 4-block radius that you normally kick it. Go make new friends. Like, we live in such an age where everything is so easily accessible, and it's almost to the point where it's detrimental to us because it's so easy. And but it's also like no one's doing it. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that we have to kind of step outside of our comfort zones in order to grow, or do you think that it's more important to be internal with your progression?
No, I think that the problem is a lot of us are too comfortable. A lot of us are actually doing things because it was something someone else told us to do versus it being something, a purpose-driven thing. It was something that God gave us, an idea. A lot of times we're just in an identity of, hey, this is who I think that you should be. This is what I think that you should do. We look at where we come from, our neighborhood, or we look at the positions we take in church, and we get boxed into these things of, well, this is what I'm supposed to do. No, you take where my revelation came in, I had someone ask me, what makes you happy? And I could not answer.
I was going to say, what was your answer?
And that was something I wanted, I had to see. He said, what makes you happy, Amber? And I was like, well, spending time with my family, reading books. Like, no, I need you to go a little deeper than that. And I'm like, I didn't know. I did not know what actually made me happy. And because my entire life I had conditioned myself to doing the things that made everyone else around me happy.
Girl, you gonna make me run around this room.
A little exercise. That's what it was. I was just like, I don't have any outside of what I was supposed to do. This is your responsibility. This is who what people have. Like, this is what you're supposed to do. And I'm just like, well, I don't know if that's actually what I'm supposed to do, or if that's just what I'm doing because I know that I'm good at it. A lot of us have picked up things is because we're naturally talented in something. So we do that because it's easy. It makes it, but no. Sometimes sit down, have a moment. I told someone earlier, my sister earlier, I was talking to her. I told her, I said, hey, I want you to sit and I want you to write some things that make you happy and some things that you want to do. Hey, get you need for yourself. Another thing is, which I want you guys to do, I got me a mirror and I started to look at myself. I started to take like 30 minutes or really 30 seconds a day, and I would just look in the mirror and I would ask myself, what do you see? Wow. What do you see? And I would literally, until I started seeing the things that God had called me, because at that point, I wasn't seeing any of that. I'm just like, you're overworked, you're underwhelmed, you're not doing enough, I'm doing this. And I started to act off of how I was identifying myself.
Overwork and underwhelmed.
Lazy or whatever, then you start to fall into those things because you're giving yourself all of these titles that don't even come to you. I'm overwhelmed. Well, are you really overwhelmed, or are you putting that on yourself? Are you seeing those things over you that make you feel like that's what's going on?
Yeah.
When you look in the mirror, that's the first step. Like, take your phones, everyone that's still on, if you can, or take a mirror if you have one, and I want you to look at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I have one right here. These are things that I see now when I see myself. This was, you know, but look in the mirror for 30 seconds. Take your phone, camera, and just look at yourself. Just look at yourself. 30 seconds. Okay. Keep looking. Don't say anything. Just keep looking at yourself. Okay. Now, I want you to write down some of the things that you see when you look at yourself. Do you see powerful? Do you see confident? Do you see brilliant? Do you see accomplished? Do you see beautiful? What is it that you see when you're looking at yourself? Do you still see someone that feels like, oh man, I'm not doing enough. I can do more. Or what are you seeing? What are you seeing when you look at yourself? Because self-love and self-care, that is one of the hugest things, is how am I seeing myself? Because if you don't see yourself as worthy, if you don't see yourself as someone that you're willing to fight for, of course, you're not going to give yourself self-love, because you don't see that you're worth it. So what do you see when you look in that mirror? Are you seeing yourself from a whole or a broken perspective? And if you are seeing yourself from a broken perspective, what steps can you take to get to a whole perspective? What can I do so that I am seeing myself in the fullness of my identity? What can I do? And if that is meditating, going to yoga, getting a therapist. Exactly. So what is it in you that feels like you cannot see yourself at the best place? Why do you see yourself as broken? They work hand in hand.
Absolutely.
I see that too.
Yes, Dominique, absolutely. You are a conqueror. All of those things.
Absolutely. But what made you get to the place where you could see yourself that way? Because a lot of times the problem is, when people have gone through so many things, it's hard to see yourself as an overcomer if you've never acknowledged the fact that you've gotten over something.
That's what I was saying earlier. Yes.
Acknowledge that I am a survivor. Give yourself the grace and the credit to say, you know what? Yes, I've been through this. Yes, I may have did this in my past, but that does not define who I am. That does not give you identity about who you are. That means nothing. Yes, you went through that. Mm-hmm. Yes, you have gotten your heart broken, but that does not define you. The defining moment is walking, seeing that, hey, I may not be in the best place right now. Then you heal. You walk through that healing, but you do what's necessary so that you can be your best self.
Yes, that exactly, Loretta. Exactly. Because sometimes we go through so many things and we let that become our identity. Oh, I'm a divorcee. Oh, I'm a this, I'm a that. And instead of being like, I survived that, you get attached to the thing and not the fact that you overcame the experience. Yes, Linda, strong and courageous. Exactly, B. Yes. Defining moments are not what happens to us, but how we overcome. That's exactly my point. 1000%.
Yes.
So, Amber,
okay. So did it
a little bit? A few people mentioned some, like, claiming broken and things like that. So, like, what advice, tips, steps can people start to take if they're wanting to start building their self-esteem up after experiencing trauma? Oh, we lost her. Okay. I think Amber's going to jump back in when she can. But in the meantime, I guess I'll kind of answer the question. So some of the things that I did in order to start building up my self-esteem was that I took the step to cut out toxic people. And I know toxic is a word that we hear people use all the time and it feels a little overused, but let's also acknowledge that there's some truth to it. If you have that friend that can never be happy for you, that relative who's always saying something negative about you, limit your conversations with those people and start to find scriptures that combat the negative thoughts that you're having. Because sometimes it's not always someone else saying it. Sometimes it's us saying it to ourselves. And my old pastor used to call them mind monsters. So like, how do we get rid of those mind monsters? Start to find those scriptures that can just combat that. Okay, I'm not attractive. Well, the word says that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. This experience is the sum of my events. Well, the word says that God uses all things together for my good. So finding those scriptures that can cut it out, like you literally have to cut it at the root, because if you just snip at it and, just kind of let things grow wild, then they start to take over your mind. So you have to cut those things at the root and cast it out, even if it's a daily practice. It takes 21 days to form a habit. So constantly cutting those things out of your mind and combating it with something that is strong, you have to replace it, but withstand it and fill the space and void where it can come back. Welcome, lovely. Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
Celebrate you. Yes. So I was kind of wrapping up here, just talking about self-esteem and some of the practices that we can take in order to build our self-esteem up. I said getting rid of toxic people, even though that's a popular term, there's a truth to it. We need to get rid of those people who don't believe and celebrate us and always turning to negativity. And also combating that negativity with scriptures that negate the falseness of them. So do you also have any tips for just kind of rebuilding your self-esteem?
You said it. When I heard when you said prayer, I was like, she got it. No, prayer, meditation. One way that I was able to really hone in on myself was being honest about where I was. A lot of times when you are busy and you're aunt, mom, daughter, friend, best friend, sister, you're having all of these roles, you don't really take the time to really identify where you are as a person. So I had to take that moment and be like, right now, I'm not okay. Right now I'm broken. Right now, there are some things that I need to deal with. And once I took that initiative, I looked in the mirror and I was honest with myself. That's when I was able to heal. That's when I was able to prosper. That's when I was able to walk in authority about who I am and what I'm called to, when I was honest about how I was actually seeing myself.
So good. So good. That's the starting point right there, Amber, because if you don't acknowledge it, you can't cut it off. You can't fight it. You can't do any of that stuff.
You can't pray for what you don't see. You could be praying, God, heal my heart, but it wasn't a broken heart I needed to be healed from. It was rejection. It was rejection from myself.
Mm-hmm.
It was the real layer of things. Like I'm praying about one thing, like, God, I need you to fix this, but I didn't need to be fixed in that area. I needed to be honest about what it was I was really seeing and feeling in myself so that I could actually deal with the hard things. I had to make a decision. I had to be transparent. I had to get accountability. I had to really, like you were talking about, making routines, really pray really fast. One of my close friends would be like, Lord, do it for her, because she's been fasting for 21 days. I needed to hurry up and get a breakthrough. She would make jokes about it. But I was very intentional, but like, no, I knew that at one point I needed to fast every month. I knew that I needed to clear my eyes, what I was watching, what I was listening to, whether it been conversations, what I was watching on TV, working too much. No, I need to take a break. My best friend would say, hey, no, you need to have a moment. You need to shut down. It's okay, for you to go get your hotel room and recharge. You don't have to always be so accessible to everybody. And really being honest, like I said, just really being honest about where I was. That is how I was able to build it when I was honest that at one point I didn't love myself. Because when you do love yourself, you treat yourself better. You do understand the importance of actually being yourself. Before you can step in and be there for someone else, you have to be there for yourself. I can't love me if I'm putting me behind everybody else.
That part.
So being honest about that. A lot of people walk around like we said, you know, they have all these conferences, and you can't be positive if you're being mean to everybody. That you're only who you are when you're in front of a screen. You're not that's not the real you. The real you is who you are, how you treat your family, how you treat the people that you come in contact with, the people on your job. That's the real you. So once I honed in on that, dealing with those hard things and identifying where I really was, I was able to just go to the next plateau in my life because I was honest.
I love it. I love it. As you guys can hear, this book is lit. This is only a taste of the information that's in the book. So is the book out now? Can we get it now? And if not, when can we pre-order? Where can we pre-order?
You will be able to pre-order the book. The release date is June 19th. June 19th is the release date, release party, all of the things. That is when you can purchase the book.
And drop your questions, guys. If you have questions, drop them
prior, people can pre-order.
I love it. We're gonna have a huge celebration. I hope that you guys will be celebrating with us. June 19th. Mark your calendars. We're gonna put it in the chat. And then also, where can people find you in the meantime as they keep up with you?
Well, you guys can find me at Dream Academy Foundation, of course, but my name is Amber Lachey. Instagram is the A Lachey, so I drop little nuggets on there, my little pinpoints about what people can do and how to, you know, really tackle the hard thing. My Facebook is Amber Lachey. That is where you guys can find me. Sort of, kind of, but yes. Instagram, the A Lachey, if you want to hear from me.
I love it. Do you have anything else, Amber, that you want? Any information?
Well, yes. First, I want to thank you again for being an amazing moderator. You guys, Portia is awesome. So I want everyone to give a hand clap for her.
Oh, thank you guys so much.
I would like to thank everyone here. There are people here, guys. You guys say, hey, we have people in studio that came to rock out with us. They got cool boxes and we were, you know, playing games with them. So we have people here. The props. Of course, I was gonna let Dominique show everybody our dream boxes, our wellness kits, because we have been pushing this self-care, self-love. So we created a box that we have been giving out to people with some cool things, and we're going to be sending some of these out. So if you guys register and have been participating today, be looking for one of these in the mail because we're going to send it to you. So we have some diffusers and some journals, like I was telling you guys to journal. We have some mirrors in these boxes because I want you guys to practice looking at yourself. Whether it's once a week, once a month, to really identify, like, look and see what you see. And you may see bad things when you first look at yourself. So that means we need to change that lens that you're looking through. But I want you to make that a habit of looking at yourself and seeing and being intentional about the things that you're speaking to yourself, because that is very important. We have
your dad is adorable.
Oh, my dad is so funny, guys. We have some stress balls. We have some essential oils. And we also have some COVID information. So, oh, no. And the dream cup, of course, guys. So, can y'all see that?
That's so lovely.
And the dream mask. We have dream mask.
Because you can never have enough masks.
You can never have enough, because listen, let me tell y'all, something that is important about self-care is making sure, yes, thank you so much, that you are protecting yourselves, wearing your mask, washing your hands. Everyone here has a mask on. We were checking temperatures. Like it has really, we are being intentional about that. So in order for you to operate in your best self, keep washing your hands, keep wearing your mask. If you choose to get vaccinated, but do what you need to do so that you are in the best health possible while we are still in this pandemic, because it's not over, guys. We are still in a pandemic. So be careful. I'm going to bring Dominique back up to come in and wrap it on up. That was one of the people I was going to thank, is our founder and leader.
Yay, Dominique.
Yay.
Woo! Can we give a round of applause for
I'm gonna let
Dominique
her
for
sit.
putting this together?
Yay!
And
Let's give.
Academy. So we should clap it up for her,
Amber
guys.
did
Yes.
amazing.
We clapping for you
Amazing.
too.
What you say?
We clapping for you too. You and
Oh,
Dream
okay.
Academy.
Thank you.
I have
Yes,
to
but
say, this has been amazing. There was so much information that was shared. Just mind, body, spirit, and how all of that is impacted by your self-care, the difference between self-care and self-love, all of the practices and teachings that were given today. So thank you, Dominique, for putting this together. This has been absolutely amazing. If you guys enjoyed yourself, let us know down in the chat that you had a great time. And also, what was your biggest takeaway from today?
yes. And if you're watching this on replay, hit the hashtag replay, and you may get a gift for two as well. We love giving. We are a giving organization. Yes. And then also, I want to give. This is my vision, but Amber executed everything, and I want to just give her a hand clap. Like, I love her dearly. Blood. Amber is my sister. Blood wouldn't make us no closer. Like, that is my heart. I love her so much, and I appreciate her for all that she does. And she knows this. Behind the scenes, I do it privately, so, and I'm doing it publicly as well. So,
Amen.
Amber did well. Amber Lachey events, so you can have it on the side too. But yes, book her. And I'm proud of her. I'm so proud of her.
So proud of her.
Thank you again, Portia, for being a moderator. You was it. I thank you. Now,
I had a great
as we're
time.
about to leave, if anyone, we are a youth mentoring organization for youth ages 10 to 18, and we stand on 4 pillars. So we do community engagement, and this is part of our community engagement portion. Amber, you want to come back and say something? Okay. Oh, they can't see it. So community engagement, we have entrepreneurship. We also do life development and STEAM or STEM, depends on who you're talking to. So if you want to volunteer, if you want to sign up, we call our youth dreamers. If you want to help in any type of capacity or mentor, please come and sign up at www.dreamafoundation.org. So thank you.
And remind us of that age group one more time, Dominique. It's 10 to what?
10 to 18.
Perfect.
But with our community engagement, we do everybody.
Yes. You know somebody who's 18 who could use a mentor, or maybe you want to volunteer and mentor yourself, because it's so important that we are pouring back into our community.
Yes.
I'm not going to get political, but we need to take care of us. We need to make sure we're taking care of each other. Sometimes we are all we have. So for us to be able to have this platform, this resource that Dominique is providing, the curriculum and all of this stuff for, all you have to do is show up and make that connection and do your part.
Yes. And we're national as well. So we
so everybody that was in Nevada.
Yes, virtual. Yes, we're virtual as well, virtual national, and then we will be international. So you can come in, and we're launching in June. We're relaunching our summer program in June. So come. And there are ways to give. You can go to our website and you can look. Okay.
Awesome.
And I think
we're gonna get that in the chat.
What you say?
We're gonna get that in the chat. I know you said it, but we're gonna get it in the chat.
Okay, and then also, if you have any questions or you want to know, I think somebody brought up the mirror that we had. This is actually a custom-made wood mirror, and we'll send the information down below of where you can purchase from. It is handcraft. She is great, the woman that made it. So thank you to all our speakers, and we appreciate each and every one of you that joined us.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
All right. Dream it. Did you eat it? Oh, okay.
Dream it.